Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to my channel, American Studying Russian. Um, in this video, I will be speaking English. This is my first review. I'm going to do a review of my random videos, number 1 through 10. I tried to do this video the other day, and I wrote down all of my mistakes I made from each of the 10 videos, and talking about those in detail, it just took too long. The video went over 30 minutes, and I didn't like it. So I'm not I'm not going to do it that way. So basically, I'll just kind of quickly go through some of my mistakes, tell you what I think about it. Now, these random foreign talking videos were started by Anna in Instagram, who has an account called Russian for Americans in Instagram and on YouTube. I wasn't able to post the videos on Instagram, so I am using YouTube. But basically, they are for just going out there and speaking in a foreign language to practice your speaking, and you just go for it without a plan of how to say it correctly. You just make some mistakes. Anyway, I made a lot of mistakes, and mainly I want to tell you what I learned from this. One thing I've noticed, this has helped me improve my Russian when I speak Russian about different topics. But what's very interesting is if you watch these videos in order, first one, second one, third one, up to the 10th one, you don't see a steady progression of improvement. And there's a lot of factors that play into that. It's not like it gets better and better. So some days, I usually do these videos on my lunch break at work. By the way, today's my birthday, and so I'm now 46 years old. Сегодня мой день рождения. Теперь мне 46 лет. So what I noticed is sometimes I'm tired. Each day I'm in a different frame of mind when I do these videos. Sometimes if I had recently used that vocabulary or read the vocabulary that I'm going to use in that video, then I can flow through it smoother, and I just do better. But if you watch one video, I might speak fairly fast and a few mistakes. Then the next one, I might make a lot more mistakes and speak slower. So there's a lot of factors that go on. So my main mistake, I'm not going to list all of my mistakes individually, but basically, of course, using cases with the wrong form. I speak okay, but I can recall a lot of words in my memory. Sometimes it's hard to find the word I need, and in that case, I will kind of explain what I mean in more words. Yeah, cases in the wrong form, like, let's see, for example, I said, in one video, I said, мы поехали в больницу. We went to the hospital. I should have said, мы поехали в больницу. What else is there? Я решил пойти на улицу. I decided to go outside. I said на улице instead of на улицу. That should have been in the accusative case. And so, but I noticed very often, probably in all of my videos, I use the genitive. I should use the genitive plural case when after words like many, a lot, few, several. These non-specific quantity words require the genitive plural, and I usually, I don't know why, but I usually mess up this form when I use those words. Also, choosing the perfective or imperfective form of a verb in the past tense. Usually I'll use the imperfective form in the past tense when I should have used the perfective form, which is basically, these are typical mistakes for people learning Russian, at least for English speakers. One thing I did learn is that something I kept, because I usually use my lunch break. I'm on lunch break right now. I would say that I'm on lunch break, and in Russian you say I have a lunch break, and you use the у меня есть construction. But in Russian, sometimes you use есть and sometimes you don't. And I've seen there, and you can search this out. There's, I'm actually going to give advice, or I guess this is more of a suggestion to Russian teachers out there who teach in the English language and explain Russian, because all of the YouTube videos and YouTube teachers who teach about when to say у меня есть and when not to say есть in that construction, they all use the word existence. They say to use the word есть to really emphasize the existence of something. And I have to give credit here to Pavel, who I'm in a Russian group in Telegram, and there's a native Russian. His name's Pavel, but his name's written in Japanese characters, so a lot of you probably know who I'm talking about. But in this group, he answers people's questions and corrects their Russian. And anyway, this it wasn't my question, but he explained this есть a little bit differently, and I think it's a much better description in English. He said to use у меня есть when to describe the presence of something. And so this phrase that I use, I kept saying in my videos, I kept saying у меня есть обеденный перерыв. I'm on my lunch break, or I have a lunch break. But in this case, I don't need to say у меня есть. I just need to say у меня обеденный перерыв, because it's obvious. I'm on lunch break. The presence of it. I mean, of course, the existence of a break is there. It exists. But the presence of it, I can't really look around and see that, oh, my lunch break is present. I can find it somewhere in this area. That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, when he said the presence of something, that made a lot more sense to me than all these other videos where they said the existence. So if you are a Russian teacher and you teach in English, don't take my word for it. Ask around, ask native English speakers what they think of that, if they think the presence of something is a better description than the existence of something, for when to use the word есть in the у меня есть construction. And presence, if you don't know what that means in English, when I was in school in the 70s, kindergarten, first grade, some teachers, they would call out our names to say who is here. Some teachers would say, raise your hand and say here. Some teachers would say, raise your hand and say present. Craig, present, I'm here. I'm present. So I think the presence of something might be easier to understand description of when to say jest. Also, I noticed that practice is better than knowledge. What do I mean by that? Okay, so when I speak, I make mistakes, but a lot of the mistakes that I make, I know how to do it correctly, but when I'm speaking, speaking is faster than anything else in a language. So when I record a random video and I'm speaking Russian, I don't notice my mistakes while I'm speaking, but when I play it back before I upload it to YouTube, normally a lot of those mistakes I already know what corrections people are going to say, because I notice them right away. And that could be because I listen to more Russian than I read, and I have a unique opportunity where I work in an office. I spend most of my time at work in an office alone with speakers, so I have a bunch of Russian audios files downloaded, and I basically listen to Russian all day. So when I listen to myself speaking Russian, I just catch things really quick, say, oh, that wasn't right. So for example, for beginners, I will use a simple example. Okay, so basically this is a book. Book in Russian is kniga. But when book is a direct object and you say I'm reading a book, kniga, you have to say, kniga changes to knigu. So, это kniga, this is a book, я читаю книгу, I'm reading a book. But if I say it wrong, so if I'm speaking in a video and I'm speaking kind of fast and I say, blah, 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 я читаю книга, and I just go on and I don't notice my mistake. When I play it back and I'm listening to myself and I hear blah, 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 я читаю книгу, and I catch it right away, which I think is very interesting, that I'm very aware of the grammar, but knowledge does not help you use the language correctly. So doing these random videos is great practice. Let's see. Also, in my random videos, in the descriptions, I started writing what I said with all my ums. So if you're a beginner and you have no idea what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say, you can read that as a guide. And not all of that will be correct. I started putting another section in there called a better way to say this. Sometimes, and I'm not very, it usually takes me a while to get in there. I'm not very good at following through and doing it, so a couple videos it says coming soon and I still haven't put that part in there. But some people have helped me rephrase it in a native way where I could copy and paste it, a better way to say this, and sometimes I just went through translating it and checking it myself, correcting my grammar, and I put in parentheses, this was written by me, not a native speaker, so there may still be some mistakes, but go ahead and take a look at those for other people learning Russian. I'm doing this to help other people who are learning Russian, in case it can help them. You might learn some new vocabulary, if anything else. But look in the descriptions for those. Okay, here's a question I want to answer. Okay, so I live in the desert, so I've been going around showing different things in this region that are unusual, things you wouldn't find in Russia, like a Joshua tree. one of my videos I showed a Joshua tree that's just a couple blocks away from where I work. And a Joshua tree, if you don't know what that is, it is a tree, but there's a cactus growing out of each branch. So it looks like half tree, half cactus. So if I plan a topic ahead of time and I want to show something, is it really random? Well, yes, it is. Because I do not plan what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it. I don't write it down. I don't plan the grammar, so it is random. I may look up some key words. For example, I showed a video. I did a video where I showed a bunch of prickly pear cacti. Basically, it's called cactus ieda. It's both cactus and food. It's a cactus that you can eat, and I knew I was going to do the video, but to explain how to cook it and how you remove it and cut it off, you got to remove the thorns. I knew that I would need to know how to say cactus, how to say thorn. So I looked up the word thorn in Google Translate, Yandex Translate, and I use ru.wiktionary.org, Wikislovar, and put in that word for thorn, kaluchka, and you can scroll down and see a chart of all the different forms of that word in singular or plural. And I just kind of check myself and see if I can figure it out on my own and cover up, okay, this case, singular, should be this word or this form, and see if I'm right, just to see if it's a regular noun or if it's an irregular word, just to get familiar with those keywords. And I actually decided I'm going to do this in a separate video. I never have dreams, and I had a dream. It's kind of funny, and I wanted to tell about this dream in a random Russian video, but it became clear very quickly that I don't have the vocabulary for it. There's too many details in it. So I'm not going to research how to say it. I'm not going to plan it. And I'm going to do a video in English where I'm going to tell you in just my normal English native speaking. I'm going to tell you about this dream. It's pretty funny. And then I'm going to go through what questions arise before I try to translate that in Russian. What would I do with that information? How would I try to say this? And what I would do, what I would research. So to give you an idea of what goes on in my head before I do a random Russian video. But overall, this has been very helpful. What I learned summary, also read the comments in my videos, because there are native Russians that they rephrase things, they've put corrections and explanations, and also some of these native Russians, you can tell by their channel name on their account. It's obvious that they teach Russian on that YouTube channel. So that's another way to find more teaching sources on YouTube. And okay, so overall what I learned is, after I receive corrections from my videos, I'm reading this book over and over, and then this one, there's 8 short stories in here. They're all about 3 chapters each. And then this one, I usually read this one, and then I'll go back and read this again and again and again. This is, I think I'm at the end. I have one more chapter to read right now, but I think it's my 8th time through this book. But what I notice is I'll receive corrections after a random foreign video, and then I'll read the same thing, vocabulary word or grammar. I'll read it in here and go, oh, yeah, and that strengthens it in my memory. So just consuming Russian in many different ways while doing this, it, each action I do in Russian supports another one, and it just strengthens those things that I've learned. And I guess that is it. Oh, also, thank you to Andrei Sobolev on my random video number 10. He actually took what I said in my description. It looks like he copied and pasted it and kind of edited that, threw a couple words in there, and said that he changed it to make it a little more understandable for Russians. So thank you very much, Andrei. Go ahead and check out that comment on my number 10 video, and thank you to Vladimir from Hello Talk, who has rephrased things in a more native way in my random video number 2, lunch break, book, and coffee. I said at the end of that video, in Russian, I said that I like this book and I will read it again and again. He rephrased it, everything to sound more native, but he said, "Я обязательно прочту ее еще не раз," and which means I surely will read this. I surely will read this. Not just once more, not only once more, and that not only once more, еще не раз. When I read that, I remembered I have seen that phrase over and over and over. So I think that is a really good phrase to learn and try to use if you want to sound more native. Thank you, Vladimir, for that and for the other translations and all of your help. And thank you to everybody who supports me. And that is my random review. After 10 videos, I want to do more of these, but I may do them after only 5 videos so I can actually have time to list each of my individual mistakes. Maybe. I don't really know how I'm going to do this right now. But I'm planning on... well, I don't want to get into that right now. I have a new idea for a new series, and also, yeah, I'm going to, on another video, I'm going to tell about that dream and just tell you all about it and break it down to what would be hard about that to express in Russian, and show you what I'm thinking. Okay. Till next time, I'm Craig. I'm American studying Russian. Пока-пока.